Hi everyone. On this video, I want to talk more about functions and procedures as they are handled in C++. Now let's get started. So I'm going to start a new project. Okay, I'm going to name it functions and procedures. Okay, don't mind where I'm going to save it, so I'll save it anywhere. Okay. So okay, here we are. So to get started, okay, that's maybe a bit background, a bit of some background on this. Okay, so I'll need to put some just brief comments here which you have to remember. Okay, so what is a procedure? Okay, let's talk about the term module. Okay, a module is a, a part of a program. Okay, that is in itself. Okay, a program. Okay, and this part of the program performs a specific task. Okay, so it's possible to have a part of a program whose role is just to determine if someone is a youth or someone is not a youth. Okay, so the way a program works is many modules, okay, work together, okay, to deliver, okay, many modules work together to deliver the whole, okay, the whole functionality of a system. Now, in our case, we are talking about a system, we mean a program. Okay, so from this, we are getting the impression that what makes up a program is literally a number of modules which are working together. So each module is performing a specific task, and each module is somehow a program on its own and performing its own tasks. Okay, then maybe also need to understand that functions and procedures are modules. Okay, so types of modules that we can find in a program, these are functions and procedures. Now here, a function, a procedure, they are all modules and they both have a specific task to perform. The only difference is that a function will return some specific value, okay, while a procedure does not. Okay, that's the only difference between the two. Now, this is a brief overview of this. Now, when you talk about a function returning value, you can think about this. Maybe if you have experience with Excel, you know about Excel. If you say make use of the sum function, the average, you give those functions some set of numbers, they perform that task on them and give you the final result as say maybe the sum or the average. So that is an example of a function returning a specific value. Whereas in the case of procedure, it can do a number of things, but it won't return any specific value at all. Okay, so what we need to understand here, okay, what we need to understand is basically how to create functions and procedures. Okay, we need to understand this and also how to call, okay, how to call functions and procedures. So once I've created the functions, how do I call a particular function? How do I call a specific procedure? Okay, so this is what we need to understand. Now, let me push this maybe in this zone so I don't have the comments appearing here. So I'm going to start here using namespace std. Now, do you want to see an example of what a function is? Okay, an example of a function is what we see when we look at this part, the int in main. So int main, the main is the name of a function. Main is a function that is more like coordinates the whole program. It's called main because this is the function that runs first whenever you run a program, and without this the program cannot work. So and then you've got, so you see integer here, and then you see the name of a function, and then you see these brackets here, and then this means begin and end, and of course a return here. So if you are ever going to create any function, it's going to have the same format, the same syntax. Let's see what we're talking about here. Let's talk about a function whose role is just to add two numbers, okay? Add two numbers. Now make it simple. This function, you ask yourself, the first question you ask yourself is, what is this function going to return? If you tell yourself this function will return an integer, a number, then the first thing you mention is the return type, which is int. What do you want to call this function? Let's call this function as the add numbers. The add numbers. And then here we'll open and close. Okay, and then we're going to put the function body by doing so, doing like this. So the function body starts here and ends here. Now this function must return something, okay? A function must return something. So in this case, let's put something here for this function to return. So we're going to put two variables. We're going to put two variables. We're going to put x and y. And to make it pretty simple, okay, we'll simply say x is equal to 5, and we say y is equal to 3, as simple as that. And then what we're going to do is we'll let this function return the sum of these numbers. So if you want, you can do this sum, int sum is equal to x plus y. Now, so this function, its role is to have two variables which to give the values as 5 and 3, and then get the sum. Now, just like the int main always has a return 0, a function has to return something like, since we've said integer, we must return an integer. In this case, our function must return this. So what we are going to do is we say return sum. Okay, meaning our function is going to return the sum, whatever it gets from there. Okay, now is this making sense? Okay, let me try to do a compile and just see if everything is in place. Of course, you can choose your own names there. Sorry, I think the slash there shouldn't be there. Okay, so I'll try to compile this. Okay, let's see how this is going to come out. Okay, so it's able to compile, meaning everything is okay. Okay, now let's just end there for now, and let's focus again on this. How we have these add numbers. Okay, now what's the whole use of these add numbers? So whenever I would want to perform anything that is done by this, we don't have to write the code again. All we need to refer to is that. Okay, and then this, whenever we refer to this, it's going to be able to show us what has been returned here on the sum. Let's do an example here. When we say cout, now in our cout, once say cout mention something, we're going to say cout add numbers. Now what we're doing here is what is called a function call. Okay, so here I'm calling a function. By this I'm trying to say, hold on here, go to where add numbers is and run the code that is there. In this case, it will execute this, create x and y, and then int sum is equal to x plus y to get an 8. Return sum, it will return 8, and that 8 which is returned is what is going to be printed. In short, what does this print? It's going to print the result of this. Okay, whatever is returned by add numbers, that is what is going to be returned. Hence, we expect to see a value 8 displayed on the screen there. So let's try to run this, okay, and see what it gives us. Okay, we see the value 8 here. So where is this coming from? So when this program began running, it didn't begin running from these lines. It began from line number 25 because this is where the main is. So the first line of code to run is here, see out, and what we are seeing here is what? A call. So meaning stop here, go to this function, we'll run everything, the code in there, and then execute this. What is returned is what is going to be printed here. So one of the ways we can call a function is in a printout, where we say print what is returned by a function. So whenever we're required to do whatever this add numbers is doing, we can simply call add numbers and it's going to do that for us. Okay. So let's try to add more to this as we look at this topic in a bit more details. So let's look at the next video and see what else we can do with functions and procedures.